There's 4,300 inmates at Calipatria State Prison, and about 300 of those are considered the worst of the worst in California. Calipatria State Prison holds murderers, rapists, and all sorts of criminals. The Level 4 maximum security prison has been home to notorious inmates like hillside strangler Kenneth Bianchi, fire captain turned serial arsonist John Orr, and drug dealer hitman Jesse James Hollywood, who inspired the movie Alpha Dog.
Hey, what's up? I didn't do anything.
With such violent criminals, correctional officers need to be prepared for anything. The Administrative Segregation Unit holds some of the prison's most dangerous inmates.
The administrative segregation, where inmates that pose a threat to themselves, the institution, or others are placed.
Prisoners that assault others or try to smuggle hard drugs into prison get sent here.
Inmates in ASU would be in their cell for about 23 hours a day, and they have about an hour of yard. They would have their showers every other day, every 72 hours.
Cells are made of cement. In the yard, they're still separated to prevent riots and conspiring with other inmates. The correctional officers at ASU must always be on alert. If ASU inmates leave the cell, they're handcuffed and constantly watched.
Have to be in restraints, in handcuffs, coming out of the cell, and escorted by one officer, hands-on escort, which means that they would be guided by their arm, and that's to ensure that they don't fall or cannot leap at somebody and try to assault them.
Even in the law library, these inmates remain in a small holding cell. Correctional officers can't let their guard down anywhere in the prison. Just recently, an inmate used his own head as a weapon to assault a sergeant and two officers.
If anybody wants to attack an individual, they will not care for their personal well-being and will use whatever they can.
We have, the serious offenders here. This prison, I would say, almost on a daily basis, some scale of response or code.
The prison has its own shooting range. Here, officers get tested on their shooting skills once a year or every 3 months if they're at a gun post.
Handgun course of fire, 40 millimeter direct impact, which is our less lethal, and then we also go through familiarization with chemical agents.
The critical response team acts as the prison SWAT team, learning to deal with riots and hostage situations.
Teachers work with them. We deal with them all day long, doctors. So at any time, anything could happen.
That's why officers say they're always prepared. And one of the biggest issues is the smuggling of drugs, weapons, and phones into the prison. I'll take an inside look at that tomorrow on Nightside. Back to you. Inmates can turn everyday items into a weapon. Take this ordinary CD case. It can be melted and sharpened into a deadly tool like these. Drugs, weapons, phones. An elite group of investigators at Calipatria State Prison tracks down inmates, visitors, and employees smuggling this contraband.
Any and all means they're going to use. If they have the opportunity to use it, or if it's been tried and tested in the past and been successful, they're going to attempt to use it again.
Meet the men and women of the Gang Investigations Team, a part of the Security Investigations Unit. In 2011 alone, they had 616 reportable incidents. Within these prison walls, this team constantly finds weapons.
We spend our day protecting these guys from each other mostly. But also a grave concern of ours is the safety of our staff that come to work here.
Look here, a sharpened toothbrush, a melted CD case. But fighting crime against convicted criminals remains challenging.
When we change our tactics and start using something that's effective like that against them, they change their tactics.
The most common drugs they find in these prison walls are marijuana and heroin. There's also been a big increase in methamphetamine.
So if they can smuggle in small packaging that has considerable monetary value, they're going to take that route.
Pictures show different methods of smuggling. Investigators find drugs hidden in mail, a Bible, or even a child's card to a parent behind bars. These wrap packages are called bindles, and they're one of the most common ways of smuggling. And this little package alone is worth $800 of heroin. How do they get the bindles in? Often through visitors. Their mechanisms are shocking, sometimes swallowing bindles or worse.
It's very common, becoming even more common, for them to package a bindle, secrete it inside their rectal cavity in an attempt to avoid detection by staff. Like I said, any and all means, they will do it.
Inmates don't always get these drugs for their own use. They often sell it for the prison's drug market.
You'll see that money funneled up to them as a form of respect. and following their political rule.
Investigators say money is also used to put hits on people on the streets, harass victims, and tamper with jury members and witnesses. That's also why investigators say cell phone smuggling is so scary. In 2011, the Gang Investigations Unit tracked down 651 phones. They found 12 in the first few days of this year.
Their victim that they victimized years ago on the streets and they were sent to prison for, they're able to search down that person and send messages without detection.
Facebook only recently agreed to take down inmate profiles. Investigators say prisoners often get phones and cash from corrupt employees. Top prison officials say they have a zero-tolerance policy for illegal behavior.
A simple cell phone that sells for $20 and $30 on the streets, they'll bring in here and they'll sell for $500 to $800. If they're willing to bring in one of the new the advanced phones, the smartphones, they'll sell that for $1,100 to $1,200.
When contraband and suspected smugglers are found, everything on this table is vital. Evidence for bags, flex cuffs, and cotton swabs, trying to keep life behind bars as crime-free as possible. But the prison is turning a negative into a positive. Every single usable cell phone that they confiscate is turned over to victims of domestic violence. Reporting from Calipatria State Prison, Rachel Elzufon, News 11. Back to you.